It got so horribly wrong. General Kid's out, and all of his men are dead. As far as I can tell, I'm the last one alive.
I was a mild-mannered chemist. I formulated your toothpaste. Then they came, and everything changed for all of us. First, we sent out our bravest, most competent, most handsome diplomat to meet with them. It didn't go well. They call Earth Region 72. They want to capture us, enslave us, and take our planet. But if we have anything to say about it, our region will remain free.
There's an event. There's an event.
Come on, man!
They released Monster O.
They're here already! You're next! You're next! You're next!
All right, and we are live. Hello and welcome to episode number 35 of Region Free. We hope everybody out there is doing well on this Thursday night. It's already June. We're already halfway through this year. What happened? Jeez. DJ, I think you've had something to do with this with time going so fast, right? Have you done something? I know you weave a very strong magic, DJ. You're a sorcerer. Slow it down. All right. Jeez. All right. Anyway, joining me tonight on episode number 35 of Region Free. After a long hiatus, he has finally come home. Monty, how you doing, man?
Hey, Piz, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. It's good to see you.
I know, man. I'm happy to be back in the saddle again, man. You know how it is, man. We've been doing this, I don't know how many years now?
A couple.
I think 3, 4, maybe 3 years.
It's been a little while.
4 years. 4 years. Yeah. This is you know how it goes, man. But I'm back in the saddle, man. You know, I hit my ups and my downs, but I'm back at the top of the hill again. So
good. It's good to see you. And
it's good to see you too.
Glad to have you back in the saddle. We've missed Monty. So it's good to have you back. We got some Monty love going on in the chat. Daily Ghost, John Avenger, DJ. So everybody's happy to see Monty back, which is cool, man. Good. Joe Bob wants to see the full Monty. You'll have to sign up for his OnlyFans for that, Joe Bob.
Yes. You'll have to sign up for that later.
Good Joe God, Bob. Joe Bob.
Give you a nice show, my friend.
Keep it in your pants, man. Come on. But anyway, yeah, it's good to see you back, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, Piz.
Right. Also back with us after a little bit of a hiatus. We've got the one and only Jay the Stingray. What's up, Stingray?
What's up, boys? Glad to be back.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. Doing good.
Cool. What your broadcasting is that the Cabrini Green projects back there?
That's Cabrini Green.
Okay,
they rebuilt it just for me.
Wow,
Oh,
damn.
jeez.
Well, if anybody offers you any candy, don't take it, and don't go into the public restroom there either.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. Yeah.
Bad things happen there. But how you doing, man?
Good. Yeah, glad to be back. Been missing hanging out with you guys, so it'll be a fun one.
Yeah, right on. I like how you've color coded the shirt and the headband.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's been my thing for a little while. So.
Very cool. I like that. I like that style, man.
Thank you.
It's very cool. All right, cool. Let's see. Also joining me tonight, we've got the one and only Professor B Movie Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, what's up, guys? Look at Jay there. Coordinate. That's the word. Coordinate. You got to coordinate. It's good to see you guys. I think we didn't have a show 2 weeks ago, and then I missed the one before that. But I've been on a couple this year so far, so it's not like I've disappeared on a walkabout like I have before. But life's keeping us busy, individually in many different kinds of ways. Some painful, some not. Mm-hmm. But it's always good to get together and hang with the crew and shoot the shit. So I'm looking forward to it. And we got Monty, so the energy's going to be up.
Oh man, I'm ready to go, man. You know how I get charged. So
he's human caffeine. Comes in the show. Everybody's like, "Hey, well, I'm awake."
Monty's here. Monty. But yeah, how's everything going down in Florida, man? Are you roasting alive down there?
I'm used to it. It's cool.
Okay.
I'm like 3 different colors right now. So when somebody asks me what my race is, I just say it's like Napoleon, like the ice cream. I'm a little bit white, a little bit red, and a little bit brown. It depends. I don't know what I am. I'm just a Florida man now, so I'm happy with that. You got alligators and rain and storms and all kinds of fun stuff. It's great. I love it down here. Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment down in Florida. But it's good to see you, Mike. Glad to have you back. Also joining me tonight, we have got Lauren. Lauren, how's it going?
Just trying to chase away the last remnants of the vid. Some coughing going on. But so you don't have to actually coordinate colors if all you ever wear is black. That's my hot tip for all of you. And as much as Monte brings the energy up, I'm the anchor that'll bring us back down to earth. So don't you worry. This will be a traditional region-free show very shortly.
The Prince of Darkness has arrived.
Yeah.
He is here.
Well, Mike, between you and I, come on, we have some shared responsibilities here.
Yeah, but I'm like a hybrid, though. Yeah, it's
chimera.
I'm yin and yang, half dark, half light. I like to laugh.
You gotta let that dark win out. Come on, man. Dim that light. Dim that light for us.
I prefer balance.
I haven't been able to balance properly since I was a child. When I walk, I naturally veer to the right. So
that's an inner ear problem.
Ears?
Yes, that's an inner ear problem.
I don't see any ears on this stream.
Well, actually, stingrays.
There you go.
There you go. But good to see you, Lauren.
Good to see all of you.
And joining us tonight is Christian. What's going on, man?
The man.
It's a bro show tonight.
It is. It's a bro show tonight.
I dig it.
Yeah, right on. How's it going, man?
It's going. I remodeled my horror room today for about 3.5 hours. So, my back is killing me, man. Just moving stuff everywhere, but a little bit more room in here now. So, I'm digging it. Yeah, every now and again, you gotta move stuff around.
Oh, I know.
Because you just get sick of the sight of it. You're like, let me just move my couch 3 feet so it'll feel totally different. So that's what I did.
It's weird how psychologically beneficial that is. I mean, you just clean up a spot, remove a couple things around, and all of a sudden you got all kinds of new creative energy. And it's like, I moved a chair 3 feet. What the hell?
Right. Yeah.
But it really works. It's crazy.
Yeah, it does. And now I got you can see a little bit of my Freddy wall, and I apologize. I left Jason Takes Manhattan on the TV, so now they're escaping the toxic waste.
I saw him back there.
So,
Yeah.
But okay, it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it. I know the feeling, man. You you clean up a little bit, or you move some things around, and you I don't know, you just feel invigorated, and that makes you want to move more stuff around, and then before you know it, you thrown your back out and you're lying on the floor, screaming for help.
Now you're too tired to actually do anything with that creativeness you've unlocked, and so you take a nap. Yeah.
Well, I'll actually want to watch a movie in here again. Like you get to the point where it's like you do videos in here, and then it's like I'm leaving this room. I'm gonna go in the living room and just watch, car crash compilations for 6 hours, which is what usually happens. Because I'm demented. I'm demented.
I love dash cam crashes out of Russia.
Those are
never mind. What am I saying? Of course I watch car crash compilations.
Oh my god! But if it's not from inside a car, it's not worth watching. You don't want something on a pole somewhere. It has to be inside the car.
Yeah, dash cam.
Only in Russia can a guy go through a windshield, get up, and then get into a fight with the guy that hit him. I mean, it's like, I don't know what those guys are made out of. They don't have blood. They just have vodka.
A lot of vodka.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of vodka.
And a bear comes for the remainder of whoever lost.
That's right.
Well, there was a video I saw where a polar bear attacked a woman, and a guy chased away the polar bear by throwing empty vodka bottles at him.
What?
Russians know how to party, man. I'm telling you.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
Are they the ones with the hostels?
I think all across Europe, you'll find hostels.
Well, I'm not going anywhere then over there. I know what happens at a hostel.
Yeah, you end up in a torture room.
Exactly. Well,
I've heard very different stories.
Varying degrees of torture rooms, but Eli Roth certainly put the fear of God in me.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it depends on who you book with.
Yeah.
If the Shatner come to you, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah, and don't book with Rothline.com.
Exactly.
And end up with an eyeball hanging out.
Damn, I just got to call attention to Jay again. I mean, we got Monty's sunny personality, and then we have Jay wearing the clothing equivalent
Right.
Of Monty's attitude. I mean, you're like straight out of a workout video from the 80s.
Oh,
Is
man.
Olivia Newton-John hanging out at your place this week? You guys having a retro party? That's amazing.
Jay, if a major city ever has a shortage of traffic cones, you got a job, dude.
Oh man!
I was gonna say either that or a Halloween decoration.
Oh wow, we've actually got the lead singer of Slayer in the chat, Tom Araya. He says, "I see Lauren cleaned up his man cave." So Lauren, you've got a fan in Tom from Slayer.
Well, to be fair, the guys from Slayer came over and cleaned it up for me. So.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the other night it was raining blood, so.
That retirement came down pretty rough on them, man, if they're cleaning people's rooms now.
I hear they're very tidy individuals, so very tidy.
Do you think those beards clean themselves?
No, it takes a lot to clean a beard. I mean, it's a whole ritual. But let's see who's with us here tonight. We've got our buddy Gibbs. Retro Cac is here. He says this is a real sausage factory. It is indeed. We have got Steak Sauce in the chat. What's up, Steak? Let's see who else have we got with us tonight. Big T says Jay looks like he's dressed for the first round of Double Dare. Oh man, I love Double Dare.
Let us need the goggles. We need the goggles, and I'm ready, man.
Yeah. You can reach up into that big giant nose with all the green, like pull out the flag. Oh man,
the mouth.
Jeez, yeah. They got RJ Skarinky hanging out with us. We got the Daily Ghost hanging out with us. What's up, Ghost? How you doing, man? Let's see who else have we got with us tonight. Here we got Punisher Batman fan. He's hanging out with us tonight. We got Jamie. I saw Jamie somewhere earlier in the chat. Where's Jamie at? Oh. There she is. What's up, Jamie? And let's see. Oh, we got Media Dude. What's up, Media Dude? Jay's dressed like a character from Miami Connection. Damn, that's a good movie.
We just got to keep him coming all night. What Jay reminds us of,
I'll
movie or a show.
Oh, I love that movie.
I'm gonna see how many times.
Who
he
is this
wipes
son of
his
a
nose.
bitch?
He's got
a
some
friend of
lines
mine.
on the counter in front of him. I can tell.
Oh goodness. Well, let's. Hey, have you guys seen any good movies lately?
I don't know about good.
What if you've seen bad ones?
Even
tell us
better.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Just go with it.
I
I've seen
finally
some
watched
films.
The Sadness yesterday, which I was really impressed with.
Yeah, it's really a feel good movie.
I mean, like 99% physical effects, which is odd to see these days. So I was really happy with it.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, like it's really family fun. It's like an adventure the whole family can get into. I recommend
Manson
it.
family.
Oh, the Manson family would love it. You mean Marilyn Manson? His family probably loves. Oh, okay, all right.
I mean, the legit Manson family.
But yeah, that's The Sadness is a good one. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Is that on streaming?
It's on Shudder.
Oh, okay.
It is on Shudder. Yes.
Although they missed the opportunity to play that Enigma song at some point during that movie.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's true. It would have fit right in too, because it's
absolutely
it's
flowing.
Yeah.
Maybe they can get some Enya in there.
Oh God, yeah. Like they should have played that while the woman who had been violated in her eye was cutting the one guy up with that little saw thing. That would have been just perfect. Anyway, Lauren? No, I'm sorry. Let's talk about the new Top Gun movie, because Monty, I know you've seen the new Top Gun movie like twice now at this point. Has anybody else seen Top Gun Maverick yet? Okay. Oh, so Lauren has to. Okay, cool. Well, go ahead and let's talk about it, because I have to admit, I thought this movie was going to tank. I thought it had taken way too long for a sequel. It's not the kind of it seemed like it was the kind of blockbuster that its time had passed, kind of. But I don't know. It's a huge hit, and people are loving the crap out of it. So I've yet to see it, but I don't know. Monty, go ahead and tell us your thoughts on Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, it was, and I want to preface this by saying that, obviously I think I was 5 when the original one came out. I just remember my brother used to play it on VHS constantly. My brother used to play it constantly throughout the house. So I was never a big fan of the original. I just liked the motorcycle and the sunset shots and all that, and the musical montages. So I didn't really have any attachment to this film when it came out. I'm a neutral Cruise fan. It was excellent. It was absolutely fantastic. And I actually think as a film, maybe say more traditional, kind of like what you were just saying, Justin, like it kind of goes back to old school summer films of back in the day. And I think with all these superhero movies and these movies that have agendas, this movie kind of wipes away all that stuff, and it just goes back to old school summer blockbuster entertainment. Very well done. Cruise is kind of upbeat in his performance again, kind of going back to smiling Tom Cruise of the 80s. There's a lot of teeth in this movie, not as much as the original one, but he kind of goes back to that boyish charm that Cruise has. And also the good Lord, the flying sequences in this movie are nuts. They're freaking insane. I mean, they literally have the IMAX cameras inside the planes as they're moving. So you literally feel like what were those things they had in the mall, guys, back in the day with the movie screens? You're supposed to be on a roller coaster and you go like this.
The motion simulation.
Those simulators.
Yeah, like that's pretty much what that movie feels like. It's nuts. The tension is edge of your seat tension on the flying sequences. It is a fun movie, and it actually has some tenderness and it's not fake. It's very warm and very tender movie too, because Val Kilmer pops up in it too, and that kind of got me a little bit. Not all the way.
Does he? I heard that didn't they do something where like he speaks? Okay. Yeah, and of course he can't really speak anymore because he had throat cancer. So they somehow digitally made him speak, I guess. I don't know, but
and that's actually woven into the movie. Actually, the character is going through the same thing that Val is in real life. It was it was tender, man. And Jennifer Connelly, I've had a crush on her ever since Opportunity Knocks. Forget Labyrinth, Opportunity Knocks. If anybody remembers that movie, and she's just I like her so much more than Kelly McGillis. She just has a mature warmth to her. You know,
you should have brought back Kelly McGillis. That would have been great.
Is Kelly McGillis in the movie at all?
Nah, they left her out. Which my sister was pretty pissed about that. She was just like, "That's not right. They didn't put her in the movie." I said, "Well, they should have put her in the hospital bed. You know, put her on her side or something like that." Or maybe that's. It was very well done. I loved it.
Okay, very well. I know because you said you saw it once and you went back and watched it again in IMAX.
Oh my God, it's insane. Like some people, what was the thing like they had with Cloverfield when that came out, when people were like barfing in the theater? There might be some people who have that issue with this film, because when the plane is like going down and up, you can see like their eyes rolling into the back of their head. It's crazy, man. It is crazy.
Wow.
So well done.
It is the start of Pride Month, so it's appropriate we talk about Top Gun.
In reference to the original film?
Yeah.
That's all speculation.
Well, Tarantino started that, right?
You can ride my tail anytime.
Oh God. There's some stuff in that original film that I watch now and go,
just leave Kenny Loggins out of it.
Yeah.
I love Kenny.
That song is in the film.
Messina sucks, but Kenny Loggins is great.
Well, what did you think of Top Gun Maverick, Lauren?
So it's obviously not really a wheelhouse project for me. I've been actually making a joke that can anyone tell me whether this movie already came out yet? Because it was like the entire COVID period, like it kept getting pushed back and back. And I didn't really think there was an audience for it. I couldn't imagine, like, because the original film is such a timestamp of when it came out. We do forget that it's the most important film for the video revolution, because it was the first title to go at sell-through pricing. But I didn't think that there was really anyone with any warm fuzzies to the point where they were screaming for a sequel this late in the game. Thing is, it's pretty much a great film. And I do not think the original is a great film.
No.
So anyone who wants to say sequels are never better than the originals, Bride of Frankenstein and this film would like to talk to you, because both are clearly better than their, the film that came before them. Here's the thing, without spoiling anything about the movie, it feels like a real movie. Do you remember when you used to watch film in the 1970s or 80s and the film let you breathe and it wasn't full of quippy dialogue because it thinks everyone watching it has ADD? And even something like Top Gun that has all those obviously big action sequences, there's long sections of the film that kind of like are allowed to breathe. This film doubles down on that. It lets performances come up and it lets a lot of minute detail matter. But what's really cool about this movie, everything about the planes aside, is it's really a film about two people who are refusing to have a conversation because it's painful. So the action scenes are the conversation. And that's such a great literary device for a film to take. So on one hand, you have this big summer blockbuster, and it is all those things. The actual mission that they're training for is some of the most intense filmmaking you're going to see this year. But on the other side, there's a real humanity to the story that we just don't get anymore. I saw that Doctor Strange movie, and I friggin' hated it because it felt artificial from the first frame to the last. Nothing felt real. I didn't give a crap about anyone. No one was a real character. They were just an image on screen and a name, and maybe earlier incarnations or earlier appearances that you cared about. This is exactly the opposite. I went in thinking, I don't care about any of these characters from Top Gun. And damn it, they made me care about everyone on screen. Even the characters that you're set up to think maybe I'm supposed to be a little colder on this character are allowed to have their moments. Now, I'm not a big believer in arcs for every character. I think that's an oversimplification of what characters do. But this film legitimately uses every character to put the narrative in a better place. It all builds to a thing. You don't get summer blockbusters like this, and you really don't even get independent films that are this focused on telling a good story with compelling characters anymore. It's a great movie. Don't go to see it just because of the airplanes. Go to see it for the story, because this is one of the better blockbuster stories that you'll ever see in your life.
I just looked it up because I was like, who wrote and directed this movie?
Aaron Kruger, one of my least favorite screenwriters of all time, pulls off an amazing screenplay. So,
well, Christopher McQuarrie also co-wrote it. The guy behind The Usual Suspects and a movie that I think really got overlooked back in its day, The Way of the Gun.
Way of the Gun, baby.
So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You put something like that in the hands of good writers, and
that is
something good happens
because you can feel the screenplay is alive. It's not an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would echo I saw it yesterday, and I would echo literally everything everybody said. I remember reading back in 2019. No, it was probably at least 2020 that. It wasn't a direct interview with Tom Cruise, but I remember reading something like he vehemently refused to do any kind. He was going to wait for theaters, which leads me to believe that he has to be a big proprietor of the box office money for this movie.
Oh, sure.
I would assume.
Oh, sure.
But I remember I was like, when is this damn movie coming out? When is this movie coming out? I don't care anymore. And then when it finally came, I was like, okay, I'm giddy like a little kid. I loved it. Yeah, it literally everything everybody said. It's probably my favorite movie. I don't know, the sadness, I saw that too. But again, I don't want to spoil too much in that because I still feel a lot of people probably haven't watched that nasty movie. But Top Gun was freaking amazing. I loved it so much. I think Tom Cruise is one of those only actors that's still like, I wouldn't even say upper echelon. He's like he hasn't gone out of style yet, and people will go to see him in a movie. He's one of the last few like old school. Well, no, I don't want to say old school, but I mean like a movie star from the 80s and 90s who's still relevant today. Because like today, the movie star doesn't sell the movie; it's like the brand sells the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean The Rock. You can make it say. I guess at one point he was like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said earlier, Piz, I'm absolutely shocked that this thing not only finally came out, but I mean, people love it and it's doing well. It's doing great. So,
like, I mean, when that thing was first announced, I think when it was first announced, everybody's response was, "Really? Like, why?"
Yeah.
Like,
That's still kind of my response, but
yeah.
I'm glad to hear that it was well made. And that people like it because, positivity is something everybody needs a lot of right now. So I'm not going to, you don't have to pull out the umbrellas because I'm not going to piss on anybody's parade. But I wasn't as huge a fan of the first one or of Tom Cruise in general. So it's not a title that would, I have to go see a sequel to a 40-year-old movie at this point. It's like, I'm still... I don't know. I'm I'll probably get around. Curiosity will get the best of me eventually, but
I'm right there with you, Mike.
But I can't muster a give a shit about it. It's like, hey, I'm glad it's good. I still don't care. I don't know. It probably says more about me than about anybody that enjoys the film or the film itself. But that's where I'm at with that. It's like, oh, that's cool. Another remake to a dead movie from Wonderful. New ideas, anybody?
Oh, but that's the whole thing. This is a new idea. That's what you're not getting. It's not the first film. It's not. If anything, I'd compare it in a strange way to Karate Kid as far as what it's doing. It is incredibly. I don't care at all about the original Top Gun.
Right.
This is something completely unexpectedly different and good. And if you miss watching a film and feeling like you're watching a film, because in the days where we're dealing with Jurassic Park Part 18, Fast and Furious 63, these are not movies. They're not even movies, let alone films. This is still a blockbuster. This is like a blockbuster in the realm of something like a Jaws back when it mattered.
Right.
And that's really scary. The last time, I'll tell you, a couple years ago, that Ford versus Ferrari film came out, and I felt that way about that film too. It felt like a real movie in a sea of video games and cartoons. And I do recommend you guys check it out. I think you'll, like I was, be very, very pleasantly surprised. And everyone knows I love to shit on things, so I'd love to have been able to do that with this.
It's true.
I was surprised. I was surprised, but it's good. It's fucking good.
You can't argue with the quality of this film. You just can't.
I mean, I would love if this kind of, I don't know, ushered in like, oh, we can have more than just Marvel movies in the theater. We can have more than just another Fast and Furious movie in the theater. You know, like we can have other blockbusters. They just don't have to be part of like a brand or a universe or something like that. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy about this too is that the Tom Cruise character is not a superhero.
Right.
Mhm.
His moments, he's brave only when he has to be brave, and he's not. I don't want to give anything about the film, but he's a real human being and understands the weight of what he's doing, and everything he does that is ultimately heroic comes at costs.
Yep.
So this is exactly the opposite of the Marvel thing, whereas like nothing has weight to it. This is very different. There's points where people were crying in the theater. And I don't mean like slightly crying. I mean crying in the theater because you cared about the situations and the characters. And I can't really tell you the last time I really remember seeing that.
Wow.
Especially at a summer blockbuster. I mean,
Halloween
it doesn't
Kills.
seem to be.
Well, I was crying for
doesn't
different
seem to be
reasons.
the
Kids, were
normal
you crying
fare
in
you would
theater?
expect from that.
I wasn't in a
Usually
theater for it.
You're crying at home, and then you go see the blockbuster to stop crying. You don't go to the theater so you have an excuse to cry.
Yeah,
That's
It was
weird,
good
but
tears. It was good tears, Mike.
I'll take your word for it. You enjoy it.
You know, another thing too is that at the end, when the credit, it's been so long since I saw a movie when the credits. First of all, they had the sunset as the credits were rolling, and the Lady Gaga song, which when I heard it by itself, I was like, "What?" But in the movie, you just feel it, man. But when you see the plane go off into the sunset and the credits roll. First of all, I got chills, and I haven't had that in a long time when I've seen a movie, and I wanted more. You guys know that feeling when the credits roll and you go like, damn, it's over already? I want more. That's how I felt. I wanted more.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
Well, and you know, here's the thing about Tom Cruise too. Tom Cruise produces all the movies he's in, so he has a vested interest in them being successful because he doesn't just get the money up front; he gets probably 10 times more money off the back end.
Sure.
So he wants the theatrical release, and he wants it to be a good, you know, movie that's gonna, make as much money as possible.
Just a couple of years ago, that Paramount looked like it was going to have to be sold for parts because it was in such bad shape. And Tom Cruise with those Mission Impossible films, and now this, and Sonic the Hedgehog brought Paramount back into the black. You know, it's this amazing thing, the power of like an animated, video game character and a legitimate movie star has saved one of the biggest and most storied studios out there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Does it have any competition right now, by the way, Top Gun?
Not serious competition.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Is May kind of like a I don't know what the term is I'm looking for. Just not a landmark month for blockbusters,
It's like
so
the
to speak.
Jumpstart month.
Well, Memorial Day is the start of summer
Memorial Day,
blockbuster season.
Oh,
So-
well then it probably put its foot in the sand too, to where everybody else was like, "Oh, we better not put anything else up against Top Gun right now."
Well, Jurassic Park is next week, right? So
Yeah.
I'm effing excited for that. Sue me. I can't freaking wait.
dinosaurs eating people will always get me there.
I'm a Sam Neill mark. I love Sam Neill.
Oh yeah.
I'll watch anything he's in, even Possession.
Oh, Possession's good. I love
Possession.
I'll watch that. Yeah.
Memoirs of an
Joe Bob
Invisible Man.
Joe Bob Tarhill is saying there's no wokeness in the movie. You know what? Here's the thing.
Yeah, it's not.
Written worse, there would have been.
Right.
There is a very diverse cast, but it's not a thing. They're real characters. It's really well written. I am all for diverse casts. Just tell stories that matter. And this is a case where the female pilot, the Spanish pilot, the African American pilot, it doesn't matter that those attributes are really unimportant.
Right.
It's who they are as people that comes through. So I mean, that's the way to make a diverse film.
Interesting you point that out, Lauren, because as I was watching this film, not digressing too far, I think Cruise's one of his kids is actually black, is actually African American, I think. One of his boys is. But as I was watching the film, I was watching it, I said, "Man, this is a lot of brothers in this movie." And they got major parts in the movie, and I was kind of shocked because I remember the original film, which I rewatched again, and I said, "Wow, this film is very Caucasian."
Very white.
But yes, right. I don't want to say white, but yes, I feel that's not right. But
it was the Navy at that time, probably.
It's wrong, but the original film is very white, and because it was 1986, and I was like, damn, these are two different films. It's the same brand, but they're two different movies. Honestly,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad that it's doing really well, and I sincerely hope that it proves that we can have blockbusters back that aren't Marvel, that aren't Star Wars, that aren't
that are about something,
and that are about something. Yeah, there you go. Is anybody
that damn Cronenberg movie is not playing near me? Crimes of the Future.
I was getting ready to bring up Crimes of the Future. I know Dan is actually watching Crimes of the Future right now. I looked; it is playing in a couple of theaters. I can't say near me. I'm going to have to drive to go see it, unfortunately. But I definitely want to go and see it. So, anybody else going to venture out for Crimes of the Future this weekend?
Can't afford the gas to get there. Wherever it's playing.
I will be going.
Yeah, it costs more in gas to get to the theater than the ticket costs now. So you got to think about that.
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
I'm over it.
Yeah, trip to the gas station. I'm already on a half tank, and the gas station is like right around the corner from my house. I'm like, Jesus, this is crazy.
Saw a political cartoon of a guy standing at a gas station staring at a pump, and the guy's like, "Can I help you, sir?" He goes, "Oh, no, thanks. I'm just looking."
Yeah.
Well, I saw a thing like people around here were like, "Oh, you got to go. This gas station has gas for $4.19, which is like 10 cents cheaper than other places." And they flooded that place for 10 cents less. They flooded it, and like people were driving from miles out. They were spending just as much as it was ridiculous to me for 10 cents.
Save like $2 and spend like 10 in gas.
Exactly. Spend 10 to get there and then save. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like our gas right now at most places is $4.75, but there's one gas station that's like $4.45. And if you don't think I don't bust my ass to get that 30 cents a gallon,
damn right.
30 cents a dime, anything a dime or under, it ain't worth it. You get 30 cents, I'm there. I'll wait in line for half an hour to get 30 cents off the gas, man.
Yeah, hey,
that's just crazy. $4.75 a gallon. Does that come with a sexual favor too?
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. You're getting screwed. You're getting bent over and screwed.
Yeah,
that ain't a favor though. That's rape.
Well, that's what it is.
So when I stick the thing in my car, you're sticking something in me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
That shit ain't comfortable.
You're damn right.
I have to go to trauma. Go see some psychiatrist or something about the gas prices, man.
We're all gonna need therapy.
So where did the trauma happen? At the Circle K.
were you robbed? Yeah, but not like that. Yeah.
So did somebody touch you? The gas pump.
Yeah.
Touched my car. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just ridiculous. The highest prices ever in the history of our country. Think about that, man. Think about that.
And the prices of everything is going up exponentially because of it. I went to the grocery store today, and I was like, a case of pop was $6.
Yeah.
I said, Jeremy, you're gonna have to cut back, Bubba. We're gonna have to cut back here, man.
Hey,
we're gonna have to
start seeing Mountain Lightning taste tests on the channel.
There we go. Yeah.
Bro,
like
Mountain Lightning.
Hey.
I'm already on the struggle due.
Yeah.
I am so jealous of $6 a case normally. It's not funny.
Twist up, baby. I'm already there.
Is that 7-Up?
I start cutting. Already started cutting.
It's like I went to Giant Eagle, but I think I got like a case of like chicken breasts and just like water and like a couple energy drinks. I'm already at like $50. I'm like,
yeah,
this is $50,
dude. Even fast food nowadays, it's crazy. I can't go to Taco Bell without spending $20 just for me and Sydney.
17.
It's
Yeah, you
nuts,
go see the
dude.
dollar menu at McDonald's. It's like value Coke. That's it.
Yeah,
That's the dollar menu.
I mean,
One nugget.
dude.
Can I get one rib?
Yeah, I feel like Chris
one.
Rock. Yeah,
Chris Rock.
Just pour some in my hand for a nickel.
I love that.
How much for one? One order? No, just one rib.
Real.
It's one French fry. Come on.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
which is a Coke.
That's all.
Just pour it in my hand for a nickel.
It's more-
That's about where I'm at, man. It's ridiculous. Yeah, groceries are up 25% or more. Gas is up, just ridiculous. Man, I guess we'll all be homeless pretty soon.
Right.
I mean,
Or we'll all have
2029,
OnlyFans.
1929, 2029. I'm starting to see an uncomfortable correlation with that year.
Okay.
Mike, welcome to the third world.
Yeah, well, we're quickly becoming one.
We're all gonna start an OnlyFans. We gotta do.
I ain't making any money off that.
Dude, there's an
Yeah, but
audience
you're
out
just gonna be
there.
dancing around naked in front of a camera for nothing because nobody can afford to tip you.
Jeez.
Have
We
y'all
got
seen-
oh, go ahead.
Have y'all seen this? I saw it today, and I always laugh. It's Murray Hamilton, the mayor from Jaws. Somebody
yeah.
photoshopped him in front of a gas station, and it says the pumps are open and the people are having a wonderful time. And I always read it in his voice, and I just fucking crack up every time.
Yep,
seen
I've
it.
seen
It's
that.
the funniest
Well,
meme ever.
Yeah.
In my town, there's somebody running around putting little stickers on the gas pumps, or it's Joe Biden pointing at the price saying, I did that.
Oh, those are all over my gas station.
Those are
dude.
everywhere,
over.
man. That's
That's
hilarious.
Louisiana, man. That's everywhere.
I saw. Oh my! I don't know what this was about, but I was walking into a Chinese restaurant the other day, and somebody had put one like on the pillar outside the Chinese restaurant of him pointing at the Chinese restaurant. I did that. I was like, what?
Has
They just
everybody
had,
been like?
they just had an extra one. They were like, I'm gonna put it right there.
Has everybody been like checking their points? Like like when you get your little keychain, like your speedway points and your giant.
Oh
Speedway
hell
points?
yeah!
Oh
hell yeah.
man, I have not checked my speedway gas points in like at least 8 years. The other day I went in my email, I hooked in the code and everything. I'm like, how much money I got on this thing, man? I had like 32,000 points, man. I'm trying to get some cheap gas, man.
Damn.
Gallon right there, babe.
Yeah.
1 gallon.
3 years ago, that was about 30 gallons. Today, that's like 2. You got like 2 free gallons off of that.
I know. Man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy out
Jeez.
here.
I'm ready for blood car. It has to be easier.
Has anybody else seen anything before we move on? I do want to mention we've been talking about dash cams. I did see the new movie Dash Cam. Is anybody familiar with that one?
One film.
No,
It's a Blumhouse film. Is anybody familiar with the band Giant Drag?
yeah.
Annie Hardy
I know
from
them.
Giant Drag stars in the film as Annie Hardy from Giant Drag. And she does like these live streams on her dash cam. She picks up this woman. She's paid to take this woman somewhere. Anyway, the woman turns out to be some kind of, I don't know, she's a monster or something. I don't know. But Annie Hardy is hilarious in it. Like the movie kind of is, but Annie Hardy is freaking hilarious.
Is it found footage?
Yeah, it's found footage.
Oh, I'm in.
It's all found footage. And I wasn't a big fan of the movie itself, but Annie Hardy was just freaking hilarious. So like at the end of it, they do the credits, like and she's in the car doing this freestyle rap about every person in the credits, like Jason Blum, you're a loon. I mean, like, she craps on everybody, and it was pretty funny. I don't know. Like, I wasn't a big fan of the movie, but I was like, I might watch it again someday just for her, because she's hilarious.
I haven't really seen anything new, but I did watch a couple of found footage films. I finally caught up on Hell House LLC 2 and 3.
Nice.
I love the first film. It's great for what it is. You can't compare found footage films to Gone with the Wind or whatever, but it was good for what it was. The second one, not so much. I definitely think that was the weakest of the 3. It was kind of like a really crappy recap of the first film with some characters that weren't as interesting. But then toward the end, it was an abrupt switch, and it got good because the character of the guy who is the keeper of the basement, shall I say, in case anybody hasn't seen it, McCullum or whatever his name is, he kind of came off as like that actor did a good job. He came off as like a combination of like the tall man and the preacher from Poltergeist 2.
Oh.
So I thought he handled that part really well. And then the third one kicked it up a notch, and I enjoyed that one quite a bit. It still not the same. It didn't have the same. I don't know. The first film generally had some genuinely creepy moments. I mean, I thought there was some really good creepy moments in the first film that the other two films don't have.
Right.
But the third film is a satisfying tie-up. I like how they went back and tied up all the loose ends from all the characters from all the films, and it was a good way to end it. And I did enjoy the third one. Second one, it sets up the third one pretty good toward the end of the second one, but. Yeah, I liked them, but the first one still is king. That would be the one I would recommend. And if you really, really, really like it, then venture forth at your own risk with the sequels.
Yeah, and the good thing about Hell House LLC is like it's available everywhere. It's on YouTube for free. It's on Shudder. It's everywhere. So I mean, you should have no issue. I think it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime too. It's everywhere. Maybe it's not on Shudder.
Yeah, it's on Shudder. That's where I watched it.
Okay, so it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You can't miss it. But yeah, I loved Hell House LLC. I really liked 2 and 3. I liked the whole thing. So
it was cool that they actually told a story, a complete. You don't see that a whole lot with found footage either.
Right.
I mean, I liked how they wrapped it up. You know?
And like Monty said, go ahead.
I was gonna say the best thing about it was I found it on a whim, just looking for something to watch, and it kicked my ass watching Hell House LLC. It wasn't like somebody said watch this movie. I just was like, screw it, I'll just watch this. It's a found footage movie. What the hell? And I was like, holy crap! I love that first one so much. That clown was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I stumbled on it too around Halloween of 2019. I was looking for something that didn't have Jason or Michael in it, or the normal stuff we watch at Halloween. And so I just put that on, and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. But as far as what Monty said about wanting more, I kind of wanted more from the story, even though I liked how they wrapped it up, because it made you feel, and it hinted at a couple times, that maybe the town itself was more involved in the goings on than just the hotel and the hotel proprietor.
Well, they wanted.
It was almost like they wanted to go like Race with the Devil, where the whole town was in on it.
Well, they wanted to do like a series of prequels, one that explored. I think they called it like the Abaddon tapes, and like one would explore like the clown guy, how he became the clown guy, or he's the clown. He's the clown.
Riveting.
He's the clown guy in the circus that goes through town, and every town that goes through, he kills somebody from that town. So he goes to Abaddon, and I guess whatever. And then there was supposed to be one about. There's supposed to be 3 different stories. One about the clown guy, one about a cop who is like the first responder after the first night, and like what all he sees, and there was supposed to be another one, but it apparently isn't going to happen
because the town's name is Abaddon.
No, the place
hotel.
The hotel is Abaddon.
Oh, so it must be right down the street from Satan Boulevard and Lucifer Drive, right?
Possibly.
Abaddon is one of the canonical names for the devil.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And
it's subtle.
Yeah. There is a gateway.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there is indeed. Let's see what we've got. I mean, there's a lot of horror coming out here. Like I think within the next couple of weeks, there's a movie called Watcher that has oh goodness, what's the girl's name from Micah? She was in It Follows and The Guest. I forget her last name.
Oh yeah, the blonde chick.
Yeah. I saw the trailer for Watcher, and it actually looked pretty good. Of course, Crimes of the Future comes out. Dashcam is now available, but it's going to be in some theaters. Actually, Pieces is actually getting a 40th anniversary theatrical run in certain theaters, which I think is really cool. I would love to see that in theaters, but it's not going to be anywhere near me, that's for sure.
I've never seen
Micah
Pieces.
Monroe, by the way.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Stranger Things season 4 is blowing up. Everybody seems to be loving it. Who's caught Stranger Things season 4 so far? Christian, what are you thinking?
It's by far the best season to me. It's the most Nightmare on Elm Street thing I've ever seen, and I'm not saying that because Robert Englund is in it. I mean, it's literally It's literally a Nightmare on Elm Street on steroids, crack cocaine, and methamphetamine.
Oh, I'm in.
I loved it.
That's what I keep
Absolutely
hearing from
loved it.
everybody. It's like it's like a Nightmare on Elm Street, majorly inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the kids. Some of the kids, when they get dreary or tired, they get sucked into this outer realm. I forget. It's so much to process, so I don't remember the names of any of the stuff. But the killer is very stoic and creepy, and if you look at the guy's face, the killer, he looks like the Swamp Thing for that Wes Craven movie, or the Jim Wynorski, kind of more like the Jim Wynorski one, I think. But he's got like that flat nose thing. He looks like the Swamp Thing, but it's so good, and it's actually suspenseful. I liked the first season. Forced myself to finish season 2. Thought season 3 was better, and this one's just like a whole nother thing. You know, it was good. I really liked it.
I'm glad, because I wasn't a big fan of season 2, and I don't really remember that much about season 3 at this point. So I've not sit down to watch it yet, but all I've heard is great things about it.
Yeah, and Robert Englund he's such a, I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm a fanboy. The dude can freaking act. I mean, he plays this really cool character. He's the real deal. I mean, he just is. He stole the show for me when he came in, and they set him up like Dr. Lecter from Silence of the Lambs. It was really cool. So I think I'd be shocked. I haven't seen anybody say they didn't think it was amazing yet. So I'd be surprised if he didn't like it. I think he really will. It's good. And every episode's like a movie, and it's self-contained like a movie. So it's the real deal.
Oh, that's cool. Anybody else been watching Stranger Things season 4?
Goodness, I checked out in the middle of season 2, so I still got to play catch up with them. That kind of 80s nostalgia thing kind of wore off on me a little bit. Only not within that show, but only because everybody was doing it. But I definitely got to catch up on Stranger Things because I did like the first season.
I've never seen a frame of any Stranger Things.
I saw the first season, and that was it for me. I mean, I didn't hate it. I liked it, but I haven't had Netflix for a couple of years now, and I'm not going to go back and get Netflix just to watch season 4 of Stranger Things. But yeah, again, I'm glad everybody enjoys it. I'm glad they like it. I'm glad it makes them happy.
Yeah, 80s nostalgia will just annoy me, so I probably should steer clear.
But the girl 11, she was 11 in the first film. She's like what, 23 now or
46?
She's 18.
She's yeah. I mean,
so
she's
did
getting
they
up there.
change her name?
Jeez.
Well,
They still call her 11?
She's 11 because she's like a specimen at like this lab, and they don't give them names. She was number 11, so she wasn't called 11 because that was her age. It was like that was her laboratory name.
Question: does she ever get to say, "Please don't put me on the shelf"? Please don't put me on the shelf.
No.
Only Christian got that joke.
Well, let's see. We've had some people ask us if to comment on the Heard Depp trial.
Take it away, Lauren.
No, I'm just glad that it's over, and I'm just glad that it's over. To be honest with you, that's about it. That's about all I have to say about it.
I mean, it is what it is.
It's just a sociopathic, narcissistic personality who got caught lying, who beat the hell out of her husband. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, there you go. That's enough.
Syndrome.
That's enough. That's enough that needs to be said about it. It's over. Thank goodness. I tell you what, let's go ahead and let's turn the floor over to our buddy Garrett, who has got a new rad report. Here we go, Garrett.
Rad report. Rad report. Rad report.
What's up, everybody? Garrett back here, and interrupting your regularly scheduled program to bring in the newest edition of the Rad Report, where I go through all the physical media news and new releases of the next coming weeks. All right, so I'm going to go through a couple new releases that are coming out this week and next week that I think you guys should check out. The first one is The Untouchables is coming to 4K. Great movie. I've actually already grabbed the Steelbook from Best Buy. I can't wait to check this thing out. So The Untouchables does come out in 4K this week. Now, Kino's releasing some Clint Eastwood movies on 4K, like Fistful of Dollars and A Few Dollars More. And Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day 2 non-collector's edition 4Ks from Screen Factory are being delivered now. All right, now a couple things that are coming out as well is The Warriors, that nice set from Imprint. I actually haven't pre-ordered that. I think it might be long gone now. I kind of regret not doing it. But yeah, that's coming out in a Blu-ray, but you're getting both the director's cut and the theatrical cut for the first time on Blu-ray with this nice Imprint set. And there's a couple other re-releases coming out. You have like Stunt Rock is coming out from Kino. That's normally a Code Red title. Clifford is being re-released on Blu-ray, I think through Scorpion. Yes. And The Heavenly Kid is getting another re-release through Scorpion as well. So all those movies were once sold out, which are now going to be readily available again. So again, those are just a couple different things coming out in the next coming weeks. All right, so on to some news, some things that we have been told are coming out. Kino just announced that they're doing Boyfriend School, also known as Don't Tell Her It's Me. It's actually a movie I really, really like, and I'm glad it's finally getting some kind of treatment. I don't think this had a DVD, I don't believe. I don't own it, but man, it's a movie with Steve Guttenberg. You guys should definitely check it out. It's like a romantic comedy. It's a little bit wild, but I definitely one I am going to pick up from Kino. Kino is also releasing a lot of Chuck Norris movies that are being upgraded, like Octagon, Good Guys Wear Black, and A Force of One. So again, if you guys don't have those movies, definitely want to check out. I'm not sure if these are re-releases or if they've never hit Blu-ray. I have the DVDs already, but it might be something I might check out because I like all three of those films. And the last one that's going to announce is Leviathan is coming out on 4K from Kino, which again, Leviathan, that was released by Screen Factory, long out of print, and now this is another one that's getting taken over by another company and upgraded. So speaking of Screen Factory, they announced a couple things. Shout Select is coming out with Red Dawn. They're going to be doing a 4K treatment for. I'm really excited for that, but there's two editions. I guess Best Buy is going to have a Steelbook exclusive. I believe it's going to be from Shout Factory, and then just the regular one that you can get on the site. And if you want to grab goodies like pins and posters, they have that option too, but Red Dawn was just announced. And on top of that, the big one, if you guys haven't, I did a video talking about it, my live reaction, my thoughts. Make sure to check it out. And we're talking Child's Play in 4K, not just Child's Play 1, but part 2 and 3. And there's a bunch of different bundles that they're offering that you guys can get. Man, check out my video or check out their website and just see these different bundles. They're ranging from a lot of different price ranges. I want to know from you guys, what do you think about these releases? Let's talk about it. And all the different bundles that they offer. And the last thing from Screen Factory is they're also doing one of those limited to like 1,500 copies of the 9th configuration. That's one that's been in my Amazon cart forever, and I don't own that at all. But so I picked it up. I've heard mixed things about it. I want to know what you guys think of the 9th configuration. Uncle Sam is getting a 4K release from Blue Underground. Arrow has a couple titles on their way out. They announced The Initiation of Sarah. They announced Edge of Sanity. So again, these are two movies that Screen Factory did have that now are being taken over and upgraded from another company. They also just announced Flatliners is coming on Blu-ray and 4K, I believe, in a limited edition set. The last one is Back to the Beach, which is being released by Paramount Presents. Definitely one I'm going to upgrade to as well. And let me know your guys' thoughts on that one. Now again, this is Garrett at Born to Be Rad. Now get back to the rest of Region Free.
All right, thank you very much, Garrett. If you guys are not following Born to Be Rad, you need to. Garrett's a good guy, so shout out to Garrett. Shout out to his channel, Born to Be Rad. And before we go any further, I do want to give a huge congratulations to Dan and all the guys over at Flesh Wound Features for winning the Horror YouTuber of the Month. or horror YouTubers of the month. So congratulations, fellas. Very cool. Very cool. So a lot of releases coming out. The big one, of course, that Child's Play 1 through 3 4K set. There's several different bundles that come with posters and pins and the little charred NECA Chucky figure. Price ranges go from like $200 down to like, I believe, about $150 to, pretty pricey. So
just the first 3 movies is like $120.
I am so looking forward to not buying them and not watching them.
I want it.
And considering I'm already on struggle, dude, there's no budget for Blu-rays.
Why are we talking about Child's Play when Uncle Sam is getting a 4K for God's sakes?
Clifford
Clifford is back in stock. Get your cars turned on, pay the gas money, and go get Clifford.
Wow.
Uncle Sam is getting a 4K.
Cover, though.
Yes.
Yeah, no slip cover.
So I've got I'm on Scream Factory's website here, and you have the first set is Child's Play 1 through 3 4K, plus the NECA charred Chucky figure, 5 posters, 2 slip covers, an enamel pin set, and a postcard set for $210.93.
Ridiculous.
A list of things I'll never have.
Exactly.
I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Then you have the Child's Play 1 through 3 4K plus the NECA figure, 5 posters, and 2 slip covers for $153.90. And let's see, there's one more. And then you just have the movies, Child's Play 1 through 3, plus 5 posters, plus 2 slip covers for $113.94. Now you can buy them separately, and you can get you could get the Chucky figure separately for $40, but it's long sold out. You can get Child's Play. Let's see, there's Child's Play 3 UHD $36.98. Child's Play 2 is $36.98 as well.
That's too much.
I don't see the first one. Where's the first one at?
They don't have it listed by itself on the website for some weird reason. But
okay.
Or you could go to the Walmart and buy that box set for $22 that has the entire freaking series on it, and it's probably going to look just as good on most people's television.
Do they come with pins, enamel pins?
Slip covers and posters.
I will make you an enamel pin for the $250.
What do you do with enamel pins? I mean, I know it's a thing, people like them, but you just have that many denim jackets that cover them up. I mean,
they're flair for your shift at the Friendly. You wear them on
face tattoo, right?
The only thing somebody was telling me, because I did a video on that, and I'm like, I'm not going to spend the money to get the posters and the extra slip covers. Amazon typically 9.9 times out of 10, when they list those, as it gets closer and closer and closer and closer, that price is going to get lower and lower and lower. I'm not going to say it's going to be $22.95, but when I get it, because I want to get the sequels and stuff, I'm going to get them on Amazon. I'm not pre-order. I don't need them 2 weeks early. I promise my heart will still beat. Some people have to have it the second they can. I'm totally fine to get it slightly cheaper from Amazon with whatever.
So it's not like
the own 2 and 3 on VHS. I never upgraded anything else more than that, so I need to upgrade, but the price has got to be a little bit lower for me.
So let's be honest here. The Child's Play films are not exactly known for their brilliant photography. They're not visually stunning movies. So the idea of needing them on 4K already kind of like drives me a little bit nuts. But to want to like spend this kind of money on them, if you want to do it, it's your money, cool. You go for it, but I don't want to hear you complaining about gas and grocery prices anytime soon. Then, priorities might be slightly off if you're part of the human race.
But that end sequence at part 2, if it's a good transfer, would look pretty cool. I think.
I was gonna say, I would argue 2 would be the coolest one to see out of the 3 of them.
Do you think? I don't know.
It's blue. The whole movie is blue.
It also scares me. It also scares me because a lot of these the 4K quote unquote upgrades from the boutique labels are just the size of screen. They're not even giving you really much resolution increase. So I would be very careful to buy it sight unseen. Remember, when they say it's 4K, that's just the size of the image. That tells you nothing about resolution.
Right.
So be careful, people. You might get exactly what your bias suggests you're going to get.
Honestly, like I've got a pretty big TV here, and I upgraded to 4K not too long ago, and I really don't see that much of a difference. Honestly, I really don't.
On a properly mastered UHD release, you will, but there aren't all that many of them.
That's the problem with 4K. That's what pisses me off, and I'll tell myself I'm done with 4K because I'll get burned, and then I'll buy Casino, and I'll be like, holy crap, and then I see what it can do, and it's almost 3D looking, when it looks as good as it can.
I got Tremors, I got Alien, and I mean, yeah, they look good, but I mean, is it that much better?
I think the HDR is the biggest difference for most.
Maybe I need to get my eyes checked again or something. I don't know.
That was the one thing I noticed though, because my buddy bought First Blood Part 2 on 4K, and he's got a big, gigantic, huge TV in his basement, and we started watching it, and I was kind of like, to me, it looked kind of close to the DVD.
Yeah.
To me, looking at
what you have to look for in some 4Ks, if it's a movie like the first Rambo First Blood, because I mean that movie wasn't shot to look good.
Right.
What you have to look for in a lot of movies like that is the detail. How much clearer is the image? How much detail are you seeing? From textures and from the clothes and even facial lines on their faces, freckles on their faces. There's I've seen some 4Ks where it's like, my God, I had no idea that person was a ginger. They're so freckly. But
you have to be a little bit careful though, just like anyone who's ever used Photoshop knows, you can change the resolution on any photo to whatever size you want it and not get any increase in detail. So it's about a good master. And unfortunately, like the spec sheets in a lot of cases don't tell you all the information. Just be buyer beware, and that's where pricing matters on this stuff. I can't $250 for a set of 3 movies that have been out since what? Was the last one came out in 89? Am I right? Something like that?
91 was Child's Play 3, but that's neither here or there.
I think that's just fans, though. There's not a good rationale for the pricing. There just isn't.
Especially when it's films I own on DVD and don't even feel the need to upgrade to Blu-ray. Yeah. So why would I even go another step further with 4K? I don't even have a 4K TV anyway, so I wouldn't even buy them. So I got to go out and spend $500 on a TV, and then $300-400 on a player, and then $230 on a set of movies. No, I don't like Child's Play that much. I mean, they're good, but they're not that good.
One thing that gets me is, I mean, I love a slipcase, but they're throwing all these additional slipcases at you. You can only put one slipcase on the thing. What are you going to do with these extra slipcases? I mean, I know they're tiny. They're not going to take up that much space, but are you changing out slipcases on your movies every other day? I don't get the enamel pins. I know some people love them and they collect them, and that's cool. That's not. I mean, that's not for me. And the postcards are what are you gonna do with those?
Collection pins.
That's something that costs $3 that they're upcharging $12 for.
So really with this, and granted, maybe they're taking into account the secondary market, because a lot of people turn around and sell these posters, and you can get a pretty penny out of these posters.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone who sent me slipcases over the last year or so. Because again, a package came recently, so I get to take a Disney film today.
Oh, see, I totally support that. Rip as many Disney slipcases as you want.
This is like foil on the outside.
Yeah.
So might have to deal with it not being cut quite as easy.
Listen, you want to rip up Disney slipcases? Do it all day. I'm all for that.
But I will say this: I did spend money on physical media this week. I actually went to the Vinegar Syndrome sale, looked at the pages for an hour, depressed myself out of my mind that I couldn't pull the trigger on anything because there was just nothing I needed enough. So I bought a couple Criterion discs. So I got The Innocents upgraded finally, and The Uninvited. Two great classic ghost films that are actually both pretty terrifying. And I know I'll watch a bunch more times in my life. And these purchases together came to less than $30. So
I spent about 2 tanks of gas on the Vinegar Syndrome.
I'd like to rewatch The Uninvited. I don't like Criterion. I don't want to support Criterion, but I don't know if I can find it cheap, I might.
So this is not the cat hiding inside a cat film, just so everyone is aware.
That's a great one too, though.
Yeah, that's getting a Criterion release.
Hey, 2009 or 1944?
44.
It's the 44. Shout out to Nico.
Excellent film.
Shout out to Nico for the $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. My people, the Region Free crew, can't be here live, but can't wait for later tonight. My teachers. Thank you, Nico. Appreciate that, man. Hope you're doing well.
But each Criterion collection is what, like $49.99 or something crazy like that?
They're always on sale somewhere.
You got it.
Yeah.
You get a sale.
Always on sale somewhere.
Yeah, they have sales a lot.
Less expensive than Chucky, though.
Nico's watching The Uninvited tonight and The Seventh Victim.
Seventh Victim's a great film too. I didn't pick that one up.
I do like that cat Uninvited. That's probably one of the better Vinegar Syndrome titles that I've gotten, quite frankly.
The alien cat inside a cat is brilliant.
It is.
I picked up a couple of things from that Vinegar Syndrome sale. I got talked into Alley Cat.
That's a porno.
No, that's a revenge film, and I felt pressured into that thriller movie because everybody's talking about that thriller movie, and so I was like, okay, it's another revenge movie. I love revenge movies. I'll give it a shot.
It's good.
And what was the other one I got?
How often are you gonna watch it, though, Jay?
I want the music video and 4K.
There's better revenge films to watch than that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It's just how
Miss 45
it is. It's definitely. Oh well, Miss 45 is a freaking masterpiece.
Extreme. Yeah.
It's extreme in its sexuality, not so much in its violence.
Well, I mean, it is a porno.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's worth watching once. I just don't know how often you're going to revisit it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, good thing with Vinegar Syndrome releases, you can resell those things. Make most cheaper. And then I got to Reform Schoolgirls because I was going to get Reform Schoolgirls the last time, and I was like, meh.
That's classic.
So I got it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So those were my pickups from the Vinegar Syndrome sale. We got Orc in the chat. What's up, Orc?
Orc.
Go ahead, Stingray. I'm sorry.
Speaking of Orc, Dan talked him into some pornos on that Vinegar Syndrome sale.
And he was a hard sell.
Yeah, Orc found out about the 30 for 30 sale and he went to town. So, the paying for or whatever PayPal.
People still buy porn like that?
Well, this is vintage porn.
Okay. So it's vintage, the 70s, the 80s. Oh man.
Yes.
I'm trying to find out what all I bought.
That's not a good sign.
I was talking to Dan, and my God, I think he'd said I don't even. The number was astronomical, so I don't remember. You got Ebola syndrome. Nice.
Support that one, Lauren.
I support that all day long. I've been screaming about that movie for as long as some people on this panel have been alive.
That movie is so good. Oh.
Anthony
have you seen
Wong
it?
is the man. Period.
Have you watched it yet, Stingray?
Oh yeah, I'd seen it before.
No, we've had conversations about that movie.
It's amazing.
Let me ask you though, Anthony Wong doing a U.S. convention appearance, how huge would that be for us?
That'd be great.
That would be as big as it gets for me.
The problem is that you'd be the only two there to see him probably.
No, the entire expatriate Chinese community would be there because he's a huge actor, legitimately. He's like the equivalent of an multiple Academy Award-winning actor in Hong Kong. He just made these sleazy films at the beginning of his career that we all love.
I wish a lot of that stuff was more readily available. It's a lot of it's hard to find. You got to bootleg some of it, Unfortunately,
Taxi Hunter is still like the great white whale for a good copy, man.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good. It's like Taxi Driver meets Falling Down meets like some kind of grindcore like music video. It's awesome with him.
Barney likes beer wants to know, is Ebola syndrome better than the sadness? It is, but Ebola syndrome isn't like a, I mean, it's not like a, the sadness is very sad.
But
Ebola
totally,
syndrome,
totally different.
You don't
there
say.
you go.
Ebola syndrome it exists in this morality free zone where like you got to go in to vote to root for the bad guy because that's what you're there for, and he's a really, really bad guy. Masturbating into meat that he serves to customers is the least of your problems with this dude.
Yes.
And that is explicitly on screen.
Yes.
Damn, it's not streaming anywhere. I guess I'll buy it.
What, Ebola syndrome?
Will not regret it.
Oh, dude, I'll put it on a place where you can watch it if you want to do that.
I'll buy it.
Okay.
Is cruising worth picking up? Yes, Dave.
Absolutely.
Cruising is incredible.
I made my mom watch that because she's like, she likes Al Pacino. She's like, I love Al Pacino, Christian. I was just watching that movie. What's that movie where he plays like the devil? It's like not
Devil's
really a
Advocate.
scary movie. Devil's Advocate. Yeah, I was watching the Devil's Advocate. I loved it. And I was like, Mom, you need to watch The Cruising. It's an Al Pacino in the 80s. Oh, I want to see it. There, I'll give you my Blu-ray. And I was expecting her to be like, "Oh my god, it's disgusting," and I was like, "What do you think, Mom?" She goes, "It was a little racy, but it was good."
A little racy.
I was like, "What was your favorite part? Was it the fisting?" Christian, that's it. But I was like, "Mom, it's a good movie, isn't it?" And she liked it.
It's kind of tame for today's standards, though. Really, I mean, honestly,
is the ending of the movie
ambiguous as hell?
In my mind,
love it.
To me, he's saying to himself, "I think I'm gay."
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can look at it's very. I think you can interpret it in a number of different ways. The fact that I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, there's a lot going on there. It's not just a serial killer movie.
It's
there's a lot more
though, man. I love movies that. Dude, there's no rules with movies, man.
Yeah,
that's the problem today. There's fucking rules.
It's rules, right? Yeah.
But I mean, that's because that's because William Friedkin. I mean, that's why
William Friedkin don't give a damn about nothing.
That's why we need
on him, man.
we need William Friedkin to come out of retirement or whatever he's doing and make some more movies.
Hey, what's that over there? Boom!
That movie makes me want to shower so bad.
Yeah.
Dude, it's one of it's one of the coolest movies. I just can't get over it.
You couldn't. I mean, he couldn't have made The Exorcist today like he did back then. Oh, you're going to strap this child to a board and like fling her about? Yeah, you're not going to do that. You fired a gun on the set. You know what I mean? Like,
slapped a priest around because he couldn't cry on cue. Yeah.
Yeah, he smacked the guy, didn't he?
Not just not an actor, a real priest.
Oh,
you got to get his thing was you got to get the performance. Whatever you got to do to get the performance,
you got to get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
didn't he shove that broad down on the ground? Didn't he shove that broad like she whacked her head against like something pushed her? Like you remember the mom? She falls back and she like hits her head. I remember like that hurt her. She really fell and got like bruised up from that.
I don't think he pushed her.
You know.
I don't think he pushed her. I mean, I've never heard that, but
he hit her with
not pushed her. Something happened.
She snapped her neck. I do remember that story, Christian.
There was a documentary, something about it, where something happened where it was like a trip device, or I forgot what it was, but the mom said there was way more force to what happened to me than what was initially intended. Because she whacks her head against the floorboard.
You know what?
It looks good.
She hit hard. Yeah.
You know what?
Her reaction was real.
No matter what's true in these cases, here's the thing. The Exorcist is so tactile and feels so real in the moment that these stories have weight even if it's not true, right?
Yeah.
We will not have these same conversations about Iron Man 3 in the future.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's something about that whole period from, say, 68 to maybe 84, where movies just had this gravity and weight and texture and everything felt like canvas, and it was beautiful. and we've lost that. We got to get it back.
You know what
Got
I
a
also
little
like
bit of
about
Top Gun. So I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
what I also like about films from that era too is like when you watch something like Cruising, like when you watch Al Pacino like actually fight someone in those films, like with James Remar in that scene where he kicks the door in, Al really kicks that damn door in. I mean, and you could tell he genuinely caught James Remar off guard the way he kicked that door. And just, oh man, I had y'all ask y'all a question. That scene with the interrogation of the one guy and the cowboy dude comes in. Explain that to me. I'm confused by that because that movie. My best friend came over and he was like, "Mom, what is this?" I said, "It's an Al Pacino movie." He was like, "What?" I was like, "Let's just stick with it, stick with it."
But I mean, imagine. I mean, that movie was really controversial back in its day. I'm kind of surprised it's not. I mean, of course, it's an older film and it's not got as many eyes on it as it. But I mean, that would be. It seems like that would be a really controversial movie today.
Buy the Blu-ray now.
And the Blu-ray, the Blu-ray from Arrow is phenomenal, by the way.
Double feature with Hardcore.
There you go.
I like the music in that movie too. That kind of grunge kind of sounding music. Pretty awesome. Awesome soundtrack.
Yeah. Great freaking movie.
So,
go ahead, Lauren.
So I think this might be a good transition point because today I saw Men.
That's where I was going.
I thought so. I don't want to talk about the movie at all. I want to talk about kind of like the reaction to the movie more than anything because the movie is what it is. And I'm going to tell you that it's going to be an extremely divisive film. Clearly already is in the community. I've read some reviews that were just about the most nasty things you can imagine. This is a dumb movie. This is a stupid movie. It's slow. It's confusing. Or it's preachy. I've heard it's woke about 1 million times. None of those things were my reaction to the film at all. It's a film about two characters trying to find like some peace with a really awful event that occurred. And it's about those two specific characters. They're not avatars for society at large. But I'm getting a little bit concerned. We have to be careful because I think some great films are getting labeled in the simplest ways possible so they can be dismissed. And I think it's A24 in particular run the danger of being victimized this way because their films are considered like more avant-garde or more edgy or more artistic than the typical genre fare. And I think there's definitely an audience that this is not for, although I wish they would give it a chance because I don't think any movie is just for one type of person. But there are people who are not going to have a good time. And I don't want to downplay it. If you go to a movie to feel good or to escape or just to have fun, this is not Child's Play 3, right? And if you didn't get that from the trailer, I don't know what to say to you. But if you want a film that's much like a Lynch film that you have to decode, it's a horror mystery in the form of a narrative. It's a really compelling work. And if you think that the body horror at any point in The Thing is extreme, the third act of this would like to tap you on the shoulder and tell you to get the fuck out of the way. Because it goes places that I was shocked an R-rated film could go. And I think it's worth a lot of attention. Is it the best A24 film? No. Does it approach Hereditary or The Witch? No. Is it better than something like Lamb or, to me, Midsummer? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's better than that. At the very least, it makes for a great conversation. I spent about a half hour talking to Dan in messages today about the movie. And, you just don't get that from a lot of cinema, period. So I would throw my hat in the ring of saying it's worth your time. Take a look at it. But don't go in. If you want a fun movie that day, go see something else. It's not a fun movie. It's a film for reflection and to go to really dangerous places. Here's my last thought on it. Because I was thinking about this literally as soon as the movie ended. If the credit for the director that follows the movie said directed by David Cronenberg, none of the nonsense you're hearing online would happen. And to be honest with you, there's not so much stylistically any correlation between this film, between Garland and Cronenberg, but as far as the body horror, the psychological tenor of the film, they have a lot in common with Cronenberg's body work and this. And I just wonder, is that A24 label becoming a negative for certain people? Is it becoming a target on the back of some films? Because they're going to look at it as, oh, that's the arty side. That's the elevated side of horror. So I'm going to stay away or I'm going to mock it. Do want to just stress, it's not a woke film. It's about two characters. It's not about society.
Oh, that's interesting.
It has been getting, I was on Letterboxd doing something the other day, and I happened across the reviews, and it was literally one-star review after another. I couldn't find anything above a 2.
Right. I give it a solid A-.
I do think A24 for some, I think some people look at A24 and they go, it's going to be pretentious. It's going to be boring and pretentious and weird.
I mean,
and
sometimes, sure, but
yeah,
they've got like a 95% track record with me, man. So
yeah,
I think that's sort of, I think that's become kind of their reputation a little bit.
Well, they make movies, obviously, that horror nerds like us like, but we're not you know what I mean? We're a small portion of society. So you can't expect, I guess, what they used to call the casuals or the normies or whatever. I mean, these movies are made, that's why we like them, because we're not the casuals. We're not the normies. We're more, tuned in to what's going on in the genre. And maybe it's a blessing and a curse for them because we like it, but yet I don't know if they could cross over. I mean, can you cross over? I know a lot of people still pissed off at Metallica about the Black Album. You know what I mean? You have your hardcore audience, and then you have the casuals, right? And once you cross that line, there's no going back.
Right.
And right. I think maybe they're afraid of that, so they know their lane, and they're staying there. And they know there's probably going to be some stigma from the casuals. They'll look at it and go, oh, this movie's for nerds, or this movie's for the horror nerds. Well, yeah, I mean, somebody's got to make movies for us, because the people that make movies for the casuals certainly aren't doing it. I don't know if that's a negative or not. And sometimes I'm in the mood. Here lately, I have been in the mood for more uplifting fare. So that movie would be something I would not be interested in seeing right now. Maybe later. But I don't dwell in doom and gloom. Because so as why don't you like Old Yeller? I said, well, it's sad.
I just watch the last 20 minutes on repeat. That's all I do.
It's like, it's sad. Well, why don't you like it? I go, well, life is sad enough. I don't need to seek out more reasons to be sad.
Right.
I mean, people die, friends die, bad things happen. Sadness is never on short supply. If you just look at, there it is. It's over in the corner. I'm looking for things to make me forget about that. So a lot of times I'll avoid these things, not because I think they're pretentious, but because I just don't want to go there. Right. I mean, I'm sure we've all of us in the world. I mean, when we mentioned gas prices, we forgot to mention that gas prices are high in other places besides the United States of America. See, I guess we're USA supremacists or something. I don't know what. I don't pay attention to all that crap. Well, of course, gas prices are high everywhere, and you should be pissed off about it too. So make a freaking video and get off my ass. Anyway. Anyway, it's like sometimes I'm just in the mood for uplifting fare, and I'm sure it's a great movie. I haven't seen it. I don't really know much about it. I haven't read any reviews. When I originally heard the synopsis, to be honest, it didn't interest me, but that doesn't mean it's not good. Yeah. I'd rather watch something that's I don't know, a little more fun. I'm in the mood for fun.
I think maybe it's a film that can be interpreted a couple of different ways. Like if you go into it expecting that it's going to be an anti-man, male toxic male,
it's easy to see how people would be sensitive to that because of how often we've been bludgeoned over the head
Right.
with the concept of toxic male masculinity and mansplaining and this and that and the other thing. And after a while, I imagine people get paranoid about it, right?
Yeah.
And you see something, and it could trigger some post-traumatic stress disorder from dealing with this stuff, right? And they see this movie Men, and then they hear a little thing about it, and it triggers that reaction, even if it's not true.
Well, even I was going to bring this up when we were talking about Top Gun. There was a review I read where they were talking about Top Gun being about toxic masculinity and about it's a right-wing movie, and it's
Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. That doesn't match the movie at all, even subjectively at all.
But see, to me, that critic wanted it to be a a toxic male masculinity movie, and that's what they got out of it. Because watching a movie about guys flying planes really fast, to them is the guy should be thinking and thoughtful and opening doors for women, and you know what I mean, they should be
They should have a pipe and a smoking jacket and speak like Sherlock Holmes.
That dude didn't watch the same movie then.
Well, do you ever wonder how much of the negativity is like a pseudo people that haven't even seen it, but
exactly.
Oh sure.
That's 90% of the time, I think.
Or simply performative. They watch the movie and they find those moments that they can have these arguments about.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or not even that. They listen to a reviewer. They listen to a reviewer and just shit talk the movie too, and haven't even seen it. Yeah. I mean, not enough people have, and not enough people I say I haven't seen that yet. You ever notice nobody says that anymore? Nobody says I haven't seen that movie yet. They have an opinion on it, and you can kind of smell bullshit when you see it. You can tell when somebody hasn't seen it, but they're shit talking something.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a film about domestic abuse.
Right.
And it deals with that subject. But what should we do? Avoid that subject simply
because happens. That's a real thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we shouldn't avoid the subject in the horror genre, which is all about those uncomfortable parts of our society and our lives, simply because someone's going to call us names about it. Yeah. And I can't give something away about the movie, but it does something very intentionally in its first few minutes to like ease concerns that this is some kind of anti-patriarchy film. It's about two characters in particular. That's what this movie is. And I do worry that like people will reject it with that side unseen. Now, Mike has the right take. He should not watch this film when he's looking for a feel-good movie. He's not going to get it. I love misery porn. You give me a movie that's a downer, and I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty rolling. Because, to be honest with you, I seek out happy things in real life, right? Movies where I go for my misery. And it's a safe, cool place to get my misery. And this movie gave it to me. It's not perfect. It's not Hereditary. It's not The Witch. So if you're looking for that level of perfection, you're not getting it. But it's really, really good and deserves a lot more, I don't know, of an even chance and an even review than I've been seeing it get.
Is it doing anything at the box office? I imagine not. Okay.
Not really. But it wasn't expected to, and it really wasn't on enough screens to really break out.
Right.
And the other thing I don't understand is I don't understand what's wrong with when you make films, why you just can't have your own voice. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. Like, I don't even think there's anything wrong with, like, you have a movie like Top Gun where, okay, everybody's acting macho. What's wrong with that? What is really the problem with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As opposed to something wrong with if somebody wants to, be a little bit more laid back and gentle and docile or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that either. We all have the right to have our own.
Not a spoiler, Monty, but it's a movie about fighter jets that comes down to two men hugging. It's not
right. I don't think there's anything wrong with any movie exploring any subject.
I will tell you. I'll tell you what. That Black Christmas remake, right?
Oh yeah.
Call it something else, and it doesn't even bother me that there's nothing that bothers me about it. It won't be my film, but it'll be out there, and someone will love it. The problem comes when you're taking an existing fan base and smearing their nose in something that's kind of not what the original was.
Right.
But no, I think everyone should be able to explore whatever from a writing standpoint, from a director standpoint, from an actor standpoint. I'm just kind of getting annoyed that like there's a weird sort of insult I remember Dennis Miller on the Off-White album has this joke about that calling someone Einstein is sort of an insult. And that's kind of where we are. It's like, oh, that's a smart horror film. It's like, how is that a bad thing? Like, I'm not saying everything should be that. That's ridiculous too. But how you looking down your nose at something that has thought put into it? Like, everything's not going to be a slumber party massacre. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was some thought put into that.
There wasn't. But
there was thought put into that.
The lack of thought is the point, I think.
The most thought went into the casting, you know.
And that drill.
Oh, that drill, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of callbacks on that one.
Anything else you guys? Does anybody have any specific topics they want to discuss tonight?
Just
did
one.
Anybody see that movie? Oh, I'm sorry, Christian. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to know, did anybody see this movie called Bliss?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I caught like the first half of it, but I didn't finish it yet. It's on Amazon Prime. It was pretty freaky, I thought, with like the strobe lights and stuff, and she's turning into like, I guess, a vampire. The movie was pretty trippy, but I didn't finish it. I got to finish the rest of it tonight. I don't know if you guys saw it all the way through.
I saw some of it.
Okay.
Oh, 2019 film, right?
Yeah, 2019
Right.
film.
No, not the Salma Hayek
movie here.
Not the Salma Hayek one.
Yeah. But Christian, I know you wanted to you got some things to discuss.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I just wanted to show people what I read this book I got the other day. I loved it. It was called John Russo's Night of the Living Dead Illustrated History. And I got the book because I like Night of the Living Dead 1990 a lot. And I just thought it was cool to really learn about it. I had a few things I was going to bring up that I liked. Obviously, everybody knows now that when they changed the title to Night of the Living Dead right before it came out, they didn't copyright it, so they didn't make any money off of it. Well, John Russo was the one who kind of got with George and Russ Schreiner and said, guys, we got to make some money off of this title. The Fly is doing disgusting money right now. The remakes are coming. Let's make it. But they couldn't get any money because the companies that wanted to give them money for the movie said, we're not giving you a penny till you have a script. No script, no money. So John and George and them were talking about what they wanted to do. And the one thing I like about John's book is he talks about George in a very honest way with the stuff George did. And I'm not saying George is a bad guy, but John has been through a lot of ups and downs with George, but he holds no resentment. And I just thought that's a really classy thing about John that I really like. And he talked about what I found was interesting was they got together and talked about what they wanted to do. And none of them could really agree. John Russo wanted to make like a 40-minute remake and then do the next day from Night of the Living Dead to have like something old and new, kind of like a requel, what's going on now, which was interesting. But George said, no, if we're doing a remake, I just want to do a remake. You remake the same movie again. So they disagreed on a few things. And what was interesting was they were all going to write it together and produce it equally together. And what I found interesting was when John said a year later, this was in the late 80s, like a year later, George called up John Russo and said, hey, I wrote a script for Night of the Living Dead in 1990. My company's producing it, and they've already bought the script. And, John kind of chalked it up to George had been in the business just as long as John had, and George had a lot of success. And I think you just got to learn how to play the game. And I think that's what I respected about John was he didn't say, screw George Romero for that. Like he's just, first off, they're all Italian guys too. So you know how they go, but he just talked about George called him up and said, hey, my company's producing this movie. I wrote a script. That's all. They already bought it, but what was interesting was reading about how George demanded Tom Savini direct the movie. John and Russ both were like, he doesn't need to direct this movie. And I mean, all of us love Tom Savini. I love Tom Savini, but they talked about on the first day of dailies, John, George, and Russ looked at the footage and they were like, holy crap, this is terrible. So they pulled Tom aside and they was like, dude, you have got to step it up. And they said Tom had a really rough time on it. And then halfway through the making of it, George had to go work on the dark half. So John and Russ were really like trying to wrangle everything together to make it work. Because John was talking about how Tom Savini would try to film things, each thing in like such a sequence, but he didn't have any sense of direction with making the camera. Like when somebody's doing something, the next shot would have that person looking the completely other way, or they'd be on the other side of the house. And John was trying to wrangle Tom to help him out. But then the producers were trying to shut the film down because the dailies were horrible. Long story short, though, it talked all about, you know, John really produced a lot of that film and helped out with a lot of that stuff. And but it wasn't negative. That's the thing I loved about it. It was really honest, and it talked about how, you know, George really didn't give a damn. He just wanted to, he hired all the guys, it's a George Romero crew, but, you know, he just showed up by the end of it, looked at a lot of the footage, and then John did a lot of pickup second unit shots. John talked about, if you see a shot in the movie where you see the full moon in the sky and then it cuts to something, that's because the footage that they had for the rest of the sequence that Tom had shot was miserably bad and none of it made sense. So John was like, we just got to put the full moon in the sky and then cut to, you know, like when they were boarding the house up, he said the footage was a disaster. And Tom didn't understand how to montage and to make something seem like if you board one window up in this room and another room in this one, the audience will understand that we're boarding the house up. But Tom was filming them board every window in this house up. And so it was just a disaster, but they finally got the film made. And the thing that sucked I didn't know about was they didn't, the company that put this out, I think it was 21st Century, Menahem Golan was involved. And he said Romero hated Menahem. So they got in fights and John was just trying to keep the film together. But what was a shame was that John talked about how where he was stationed at the time, I think he was in Pennsylvania. They promoted the film heavily. It was a hometown movie, but 21st didn't promote the movie in 50% of the country because they thought the title alone was going to bring box office numbers, and it didn't. So the movie didn't do as good, but it was a really good read about the genuine making of the film. And it's just sad, man, because it's ugly. It's ugly learning that, you know, the movie business is just, it's rude, it's crude, and it's not for the faint of heart. And I got a new love. I say new love. I got such a love for Russ Streiner because he's an angel. The guy is so brilliant. He's a good money guy. He's a good like advertising guy. And it was good. I got to learn a lot about Russ, which I have not seen. I have Reflections of the Living Dead, Reflections of the Living Dead. It's like a 3-hour documentary. I don't learn anything about Russ Streiner. And so it was lovely to read about him. So this book was on Amazon, and I really recommend it. And I got to see a lot of cool pictures. All these pictures were John Russo hired somebody to take pictures on set, and it's all behind the scenes stuff that I've never seen before. So it's a great book. I highly, highly recommend it. And I learned a lot. So I read that. And just the next thing I'm reading right now, I'm on a kick. I'm reading Tom Savini's book. And so far it's really cool. I like it a lot. And there's a chapter called Staring at Salma Hayek's Ass for 3 days. So I can't wait to get to that chapter. But
I bet you that was a joy.
It's really good. It's really good. Oh, the only other thing I wanted to add about Night of the Living Dead 1990 that I found was interesting was by the time the movie was done, the MPAA were so brutal on everything. John had gotten upset with Tom at this point because Tom had a miserable experience making that film. He was under the gun. I mean, it sucks when George and Russ and John, who are guys that you looked up to. Tom was very vocal. He wanted to be on Night of the Living Dead, but he went off to war. And he looked up to these guys. They were his heroes. And when they all say, dude, you suck. This is terrible. Step it up. He said the whole shoot for Tom was miserable. He did what he could, but he was in over his head. And by the time the MPAA was like, we need to cut this, Tom was so just over it. He just said, he told the editor, cut all of it. And John was trying to be like, no, we can finagle and we could subliminally have stuff in there so we can keep some of this gore and get away with it. But he said Tom was done with it. So it's a shame that movie got axed so much, but he also put out a book I'm going to get called Return of the Living Dead 1990, the version you never seen. And apparently Tom has all his storyboards and images from the makeup his team was creating for that movie. It's fascinating stuff. And you don't find this on DVDs because it's upsetting to read. They don't tell you the good stuff in the documentaries. So, and that's why this is really good. The Tom Savini book. And then when I get done with that, I'm reading Chainsaw Confidential, which I've had for a long time, but I never read it. And then I got this, which is kind of lame, but it's taking shape. It's the making of the Halloween films. But I talked to some people that read it, and they said a lot of it is negative stuff about how, you know, people didn't like each other. Tommy Lee Wallace was like not in good standing with them when he told them Halloween 2 sucks. I don't want to make this film. So I'm digging these books right now. But yeah, that was it. I just wanted to share that because I think it's a really good book, and I think people should read it. And I love John Russo. So,
well, I mean, there's a reason why you don't see long-standing partnerships in Hollywood. You know, you only have, you know, I mean, it's a hard business, and it's cutthroat.
Yeah.
And I think you know, I love Romero to death, but he is in the spotlight perpetually when it comes to those movies. And I mean, yeah, well, you know, Savini gets some love for Dawn and of course Day, but it's pretty much all Romero. And I mean, I love Romero, but it's unfortunate that Russo and Striner and some of those guys kind of get overlooked and forgotten.
Heartbreaking. And the more I read about it, it was such a team effort for the original film. It just sucks. And you try to talk to people about it, they don't care. Yeah. They don't care. I get it. Look, Romero is great. I love George. He's my favorite director. I love George. But, you know, I just found I have more respect for John, that he just chalked it up to George was always my friend. We never fought. Things were sticky, but like it's the business, and George played the game, whether I like it or not.
And by the time 1990 rolled around, I mean, Romero had been in the business for a number of years. And I mean, I'm sure, I mean, the business changes you. So, I mean, by that point, he'd been put through the ringer himself, and he was like, you know, this is something I'm going to take control of. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. But, you know, John, the only, I don't want to spoil the whole book, but another thing John talked about was by the time they got done making the film, 21st Century did not want to pay John or Russ Striner any money for producing. So they got a lawyer, and the lawyer says, I booked y'all on 50 radio shows across the country. You are going to destroy 21st Century on the radio every 4 days when you go to a new station. By the second day, they got a call from one of the presidents of 21st. John said, I got that check. I got hundreds of thousands of dollars. My kids went to college. All was right with the world. But do you guys remember in 1990 that horror movie award show that they had? They had like Chucky in a suit and stuff. They talked about that, and he says that was one of the best nights of his life because like him and Russ Striner went on stage to accept an award for the Horror Hall of Fame is what it was. And he says the standing ovation that those two guys got for Night of the Living Dead being inducted, he says one of the best moments of his life. So I just think that's awesome. And he's still with us. He's 83 and he's still with us. That's fucking amazing. I was so jealous. My buddy went to the Mahoning drive-in and he was there doing a screening. I just wish I could meet him. You know, I pray to God I get that chance one day. So come on
up. They made other movies, you know, Russo and Striner. They made a lot of other movies, even like other zombie movies and stuff. What's it called? It got released. It's getting released by Vinegar Syndrome. Flesh Eaters or something like that.
Flesh Eater.
And, you know, it's not great.
No.
It exists.
It exists. It's not great. It's worth a watch. But you know, I don't know. You kind of get the feeling that, you know, they kind of got left behind a little bit. You know.
Yeah. It's like George is the Billy Corgan, and name another member from Smashing Pumpkins if you're a semi fan. You know,
well, I mean, he was the front man who got all the praise, and he got the cover shoots all by himself. So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a rough business, and I don't know. That does sound like an interesting book. I may need to look into that.
It's good. It's really good.
I know Tom Savini is often a whipping boy for whatever reason, many reasons maybe. I met him. I had a positive interaction with him. I know I'm one of the few. But he told me a lot because I asked him, what's your favorite thing to do? makeup effects, acting, or directing? And he said acting because it's the easiest. Makeup effects, I'm always pulling out of my pocket to make up money because they don't want to pay extra. They want it done yesterday. They change stuff on me, and then I'm supposed to change it on the fly. And if it's not in the budget, well, guess who's got to pay for it? He goes, I love doing makeup effects, but there's no money in that. It's just all stress and long hours. As an actor, you get to sit on the couch until they call your name, right? And then you go do your thing, and you come back and sit back, and you don't have to worry about any of that other stuff. And he said the worst thing he ever did was directing the Night of the Living Dead remake. That was the worst experience he ever had in his life. And depending on whose side you believe, it doesn't really matter to me, but it does seem to me that he was kind of set up to fail. Because, he was telling me stories about how producers would come on the set and then they would walk out of the trailer just tearing up storyboards. That's not in the movie anymore. That's not in the movie anymore.
Right.
Because I'm actively trying to make a movie and they're changing it as I'm making it. And no matter what I do, it's always wrong. I mean, don't you have meetings with people to say, hey, how'd you plan to shoot this? Let me see these storyboards. How would you shoot that? How would you shoot this? Because some people blanket coverage everything and then put it together in post in the editing. So yeah, there are some directors like Kubrick that would film actors boarding up every single window in the house and then put the scene together in the editing room. Maybe that's not what they were looking for. Maybe there was a miscommunication. It'd be interesting to hear both sides of the story, because I'm sure the truth is somewhere in the middle. But that does sound like a great book. I'm definitely going to check that one out.
So a director, we got to keep in mind, is really a manager. They get handed a budget. Somebody boarding up every window in the house is a money concern. You got to move on, right? So that's where if you did that, if you wasted money on that, the producers say, okay, this is what you just gave up because we got to get the rest of the film in the can. So the problem is, it sounds like a director should be having meetings. The producers.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
There should be some kind of pre-production meetings where you go in. Okay. So how are you going to shoot this scene? This is what I have planned.
Every day should start with your department leads and end with your department leads.
It sounds like it was a complete
tomorrow. So it sounds like to me, honestly, that Savini had the wrong idea of what the role of a director really is. I think he was probably convinced that it was more of an art department lead, whereas it's way wider than that. And the media doesn't help with that. We have the auteur theory, like the director is the only credit that matters. Well, bullshit. I mean, and anyone who's ever seen a film and you see some shoddy acting in an otherwise good film knows that someone dropped the ball, and someone specific dropped the ball. It's not like the director has his finger in everything. They can't. To be fair, hiring Savini, who had only directed a Tales from the Dark Side episode before that, right, to do a remake of one of the biggest horror classics that exists, rather than chopping it to, experienced horror directors who would have been interested, kind of tells you something about where the producers were at too.
I think Savini did that for a favor, a friend favor for Tom, right?
Well, that's the thing. George Romero hired him and then left.
Yeah,
that was George saying, "Hey, my boy needs to direct this movie," and then he left. So I think Savini was really upset that his not master is the word I'm looking for, but the guy he looked up to and made movies with, he's gone, and he didn't have a relationship with Russo or Striner like he did with Romero. So I think Savini felt ostracized and all alone and way in over his head. But
he probably was all those things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, research what a director really has to do day to day before you take that job. Now, that said, I'm like Mike. I've only had really positive experiences. I've had multiple experiences with Savini. He's always been great to me personally.
Me too. I love Savini.
I'm not going to attack the man as a man. Definitely. Directing is not for everyone. And I think when someone has directed one movie and they never go back again, pretty much tells you to figure out your strengths and your weaknesses on that project. You don't want to hire me to run a restaurant, for instance, but I can run a retail store. It's different, Savini's one of those guys that I think found out the rough way that he does other things better.
Well, like you said, he only had one other directing credit, and it was just a short Tales from the Dark Side. I think he needed to get his feet wet and get a couple more lower budgeted films under his belt before he tackled something of this stature. And then it sounds like with George leaving, then it was Russo and the producers and Savini, and it was a mess. It doesn't sound like anybody was communicating with anybody. Everybody had a different idea of what the project was supposed to be. All the producers care about is the money. And Russo's trying to make sure that there's quality on screen, and Savini's stuck in the middle, and George is not there to help him out.
Yeah. And Russo talked about the level of respect that he and Schreiner got was they were seen as the lackeys to Romero. So they didn't. Russo talked about like nobody would come up to him or Russ and say, "What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" And Russo he said, "I did my best to stay out of just butting in because I didn't want to be that guy." But there were times where the film was that close to getting, the dailies were so bad and the film was moving at such a snail's pace that like it was close to getting shut down. And Russo was flying in to meet with producers. He said it was a shit show and like they had to save that movie in editing. And George, him and Russ spent days in an editing room fixing the film. But again, he doesn't trash Tom. Russo doesn't. He's just telling what happened from his point of view, and I would dare to say Tom would have a similar story just from his perspective. Like, dude, it was a shit show, and he sounded like he was storyboarding sequences and storyboarding gore effects, but I didn't think he knew how to. I mean, I would be in over my head if I directed a fucking short from Tales from the Dark Side. And then did Night of the Living Dead. I can't imagine the pressure he was going through, you know. But Romero leaving him was kind of screwed up. But then again, Romero's worried about Romero. He's going to make the Dark Half, right? So it's. I think
and I mean, you mentioned it. It was Romero's crew. It wasn't Savini's crew.
Yep.
Right.
And Savini's mentor, who got him the job, and then split. So I mean,
yeah. Also, I forget the lady's name, but she's a stunt woman, but she plays Barbara. I forget her name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Savini was begging to kick her off the movie. He did not like her. He didn't like her at all. And Russo was like, dude, you're looking at like something from 20 years old. Call her back and tell her to do something. Tell her to yell, tell her to react, tell her to act like she's in danger. Like she's talented. Which I like her. I like the original Barbara character more, but to Russo's credit, he was like, we got to make a woman be a badass. This is the 90s now. Let's do something, a little bit more different. So, it's just fascinating reading about these movies, man. It's crazy the shit that goes on.
I think the actress's name, Patricia Tallman?
Yeah, I think that's it.
But the character was just so... Okay, so for an Alien film or a Terminator film, it was a great female character. But for a Night of the Living Dead film, it was a little much.
Well, I mean, I guess they had to go in the... I'm sorry, Christian.
No, go ahead.
I think they had to go in a different direction with that film just because Barbara in the original version is just... I mean, my God.
Well, she's catatonic. I mean, some people do react that way. Men do too. But overcompensating much. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, like you can build that character. It won't be Barbara anymore, but you could build that character. I didn't buy it for a second. That was the problem. They didn't build that character. They just did half Barbara and then half this action star. And it's just not a consistent character. And I don't blame the actress for it. There's all earmarks that the writing was off on it. And probably a really great director and a really great editor probably could have eked it through. I think Night 90 is better than it probably should be, but we're talking about a remake of Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
This should have been a priority to get right all the way through. There isn't a bigger title besides maybe Psycho, which we all know how that happened.
Oh.
So, but the thing is, like, you got to remember why this movie was made.
To make money for the producers.
Everyone oversimplifies why the original film fell into copyright hell, but put that aside for a second. The truth is this was made because other companies were going to make a remake of Night of the Living Dead and make the money.
Mm-hmm.
But they knew if the original team or enough of the original team came out with their version of it, it would take all that oxygen away. And it did for like 15 years before everyone and their brother started making Night of the Living Dead as animated and as a musical and whatever. But it was made, frankly, just to make money and to beat other people out of making money. And not for nothing, they didn't treat anyone properly, and no one really got compensated the way they should have from the film. One last thing I want to say about 90, and then I'll shut up. Maybe 10 years after the movie come out, there was an announcement at a local theater that they were at Halloween time that they were showing Night of the Living Dead as a midnight movie. And I gathered friends to go there. We get to the theater. We're all sitting down. We're ready. The movie comes up, and it's the remake, and they had not advertised it as such. 3/4 of the theater left immediately. And I think that's really telling. I think it's a better film and doesn't deserve that kind of treatment, but it's not the original.
No.
And that's always going to be what any Night of the Living Dead remake is going to have against it, is that the first one is such a beautiful, iconic, dare I say, damn near perfect film, even in its flaws, that it's always going to have a tall mountain to climb for anyone who wants to outdo it.
And I also think, too, that's a prime example of the stuff that happened on Night of the Living Dead 1990, is that if your crew is against you, your movie's done. I've listened to so many commentaries, and even on just like little short films, I've done my own stuff, is that if the people you're working with are against you, it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a good movie.
It's crazy, man.
You don't have the crew's respect.
They were a lot of big name directors have issues when they go overseas, like to England. James Cameron almost didn't get Aliens made because he was used to an American crew. What's this tea time and biscuits shit? Get to work. And they revolted against him, and they literally had to bring in third-party people to calm everything down and act as go-betweens with him and the crew, because they hated him and he hated them because he thought they were lazy. Like, I'm trying to get a movie made. Get your ass to work. I'm going to have me tea and crumpets. Fuck your tea and crumpets. Get back to work.
Wanker.
Yeah, you bloody wanker. I'm sure there was more than that said. Probably, the C-word was probably thrown around quite liberally.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But it's okay to drink some of that water. Keep drinking. You can breathe that water. It's fine.
I think the one guy that came away from Night of the Living Dead 1990 was Tony Todd. It was because of that film that he got Candyman. So that film, that was like the one career that actually got a boost from that movie. So, and he was great in it. He's great in everything.
Yeah.
The gentleman in the film that he's the real skinny guy, the bald head guy who goes through the window and then he gets shot in the chest. Tom Savini took a cab, and that was the driver, and he says, "You're hired," and he put him in the movie. He wasn't an actor.
Well, mostly
so that was cool.
Out of that too, right?
Yeah. And I didn't realize, it took me a second, because he was a cop in House Without Some Corpses, and then he was Henry's friend. Was the guy's name Otis, and the best friend of Henry? Yeah, that's him. That's him. I keep forgetting that's him in that movie. Yeah. But yeah, great actor. He was such a good.
He's probably the best performance in 90.
Bunch of yo-yos.
He makes me hate that character so much.
That's what he's supposed to do.
Oh God, I hate him.
That's what he's supposed to do.
Because that justifies her killing him at the end, even though she knows he's not a zombie.
Yeah.
They kind of flipped the script on what they did to Ben at the end of the original, but
yeah, but they lose contextually what the whole movie's kind of about. That it's just about satisfying the audience's need for some kind of vengeance against characters they don't like, which is a shame. But whatever, it's a good snapshot of what was happening in movies in 1990.
Yeah. But all in all, though, it's not the original. But for all the shit that went down, man, it's hard for me to. I can't complain about anything about that movie anymore. I'd feel silly too, because of how just insane it was. It's it kind of sucks reading about it. I've been doing videos lately on the dumpster movies, Necropolis and Rape to the Grave, and. Yeah, exactly. But do you know the story about what happened with those movies? William Butler wrote a movie that was going to be $30 million initially. And I think Resident Evil kind of came in and stole that away a little bit.
Toby Hooper was supposed to direct one of those at one
Yes.
point. That William Butler wrote. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of William Butler, because he was in Return of the Living Dead 1990. But dude, it's been fascinating. I've been doing some of my coolest videos lately, quite frankly, because I'm not just reviewing shit movies and saying don't watch it. I'm like, but do you know what happened? And you know, I did a video on the Necropolis and Rave to the Grave, and it's so cool to, dude. Who knew that reading would make you learn something? You know, but I love it, man. So good book. Get it. Please get it. Please get it.
Well, considering how tumultuous that shoot was, I mean, it's a wonder that movie came out as well as it did.
Editing.
I really like.
You can edit a film. You can direct a film. That's what I picked up from this movie, from this book. Excuse me.
Because I do like the 90 remake.
You know what? The only thing I would change, honestly, and I agreed with John Russo on this, making Tony Todd a zombie at the end. I wouldn't done that. I didn't think that was. I don't want to say necessary because it's a cool look and they did a good job with the glossy white eyes when he looked dead. It's a shocking, but damn it, man. Come on.
They said it was just another one of those switch it up type things.
Switch it up type things. And fair enough. Switch it up for switch it up's sake is fine, but that's my only nitpick with that film, really.
There's just a lot in the third act that kind of doesn't hold up as well. The first two acts are pretty strong, and the third kind of falls apart.
Some of it's kind of hokey though too, because they got the heavy set guy, the Uncle Reg, was that his character's name in the movie, where he's like the bald guy and he falls off the stairs onto Barbara.
Oh yeah.
There's pictures in here. It is the hokiest thing ever. It's like a pogo stick that they have like this half like corpse like torso of, where she's whacking it with the fake with the real baseball bat. Boing boing. If you watch the film, like you could kind of see. And then Bill Moseley has a dummy that hits the cemetery plot.
Painfully obvious.
Which is painful, but I would have cut it a few frames quicker.
Yeah.
Because you can
strike
right before you notice it's a dummy, I'd cut. But that's other than that, man.
I'd add motion blur, which you could even do in the analog days. It would hide a lot of it.
Yeah.
Let's close out tonight's show with a Stingray spotlight.
Oh, God damn it.
What we got in the spotlight tonight, Stingray?
All right. Let's see here. Go with so on Shudder right now, there is a found footage documentary that I watched yesterday. I was talking to Christian about this. I really enjoyed. Let me get the right title for you here. It's
the found footage phenomenon.
Phenomenon. That's exactly right. And if you're at all a fan of found footage movies, I would highly recommend this because they go all the way back, man. They start at Peeping Tom, and kind of work their way forward from there. And it's a ton of fun, man. They have tons of folks from the genre. They got the Blair Witch guys. They got the Last Broadcast guys. Oren Pelly, Paranormal Activity.
No
I highly
Jason
recommend
Blum,
that.
thank God.
Yeah, no Jason
Dude.
Blum. I couldn't afford him.
Yeah.
But yeah, highly recommend that. I've got a few on my list, and I added when Mike mentioned Hell House 2 and 3. I don't know if those are found footage, but I added those to my list as well.
That's how I ended up watching them, because I went to Shudder with the intention of watching the movie you just talked about, the found footage, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen Hell House. The next thing you know, I'm down that rabbit hole. It's like, damn it.
I mean, they cover it all.
McPherson tapes.
Yeah, we talked about the McPherson tapes. Yeah, that's one that I recommend.
I broke down. They had that Blu-ray on Amazon for $19.95, and I was like, "This is gonna look like shit on Blu-ray." They shot this on a Super 8 camera, right? But whatever, it's $20. I was like, I gotta have that just for history's sake.
I think they shot it on VHS, didn't they?
I'm sure. I mean, $20. What the hell? I'll get the McPherson tapes.
Well, let me know how it looks. I'm gonna pick it up too.
It's from AFCA, American Film, whatever. What is the company's called?
Yeah.
Who knows? I need to review that movie though, because I've never seen it. but the director wins me over so much. He's like, they gave me a few bucks. I said I can make a home video for $6,000, so that's what I did.
But they really go through the whole, timeline really well with a lot of people involved, that are, involved with the genre, I guess. Yeah, check it out.
All right, very cool. Very cool. Thank you. All right, well let's do some shout outs here, and then we'll call it a night. Shout out to Nico for the $10 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Let's see who's still with us tonight. We've got Dan in the chat hanging out. Dan, I hope Crimes of the Future really tickled your pickle. I certainly hope it tickles mine when I see it. We've got Big T in the chat, Slasher Home Video Chris. We got Punisher Batman fan DJ Donley. There's Jamie hanging out in the chat. Big T. Jess is with us tonight. Jess, hope you're doing well. Robert Long, how's it going? Mike Barrett. We got Garrett, Born to be Rad. Thank you for another rad report, by the way, Garrett. Let's see who else was with us tonight here. We had Orc in the chat hanging out. We had Dave. Big Crack Rock was with us doing his thing. Joe Bob Tarheel. Let's see. We had our buddy the Daily Ghost was hanging out with us tonight as well. So thank you all for tuning in. And Christian, where can we find you on social media?
I think everything is now Planet CHH, so it should be pretty easy to find me. So Twitter, Instagram. I don't use Facebook, thank God, because all my family's on Facebook. Christian, why didn't you like that post I made about you? It's sad. My 80-year-old grandma, God bless her, she's still kicking, she's doing good. I got a call the other day. She's like, I made a post for your birthday on Facebook. I said, well, I'm not on Facebook. She was all upset about it. She's 80 years old. I mean, what the hell is going on here? But yeah, Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, of course. And yeah, got a lot going on the channel. So yeah.
Lauren, where can we find you on social media?
On the Twitter at the Lauren Dixon, and visit My Voices 1 on YouTube for all kinds of content.
Cool. Monty, where can we find you on social media?
RMJ Movie Reviews on YouTube. Whenever I'm awake and feeling positive.
Stingray, where can we find you on social media?
Jay the Stingray, pretty much everywhere. I'll be back with my Wednesday commentary next week. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but yeah, check it out.
Very cool. Mike, where can we find you?
Twitter at BMovie Mike. That's it right now.
All right. Very cool. All right. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you all for watching at home. It's been a lot of fun as always. And one thing I do want to mention before we call tonight, our summer schedule is going to be a little bit different. I know everybody's schedules get a bit hectic in the summer, people going on vacations, whatnot. So instead of doing a show every other Thursday for the summer, we're going to do one big episode. We're going to do another episode toward the end of June. We'll do one big episode toward the end of July and one big episode toward the end of August. And then we'll come back in September, refreshed, revived, full of vigor, and ready to be region free. So there you go. All righty. You guys have a great rest of your night. We'll see you again very, very soon. Take care and peace.
Watch or be punished.